This is me. No, not the guy on the left. Let him pass. Yes, this is me. And I built this complete app out of frustration. That too in just 4 days. Using nothing but just AI tools and zero coding knowledge. Want to know how and why? Come along. I love doing workouts. And I also keep a track record of all the workouts that I do. And I have been using this app for last 6 months or so to keep a track record of every exercise that I have done in past 6 months. I do this so that over the period of a time, I know how am I progressing on different parameters. But recently, the app started to act upon. It started to throw an ad for every page or every screen change. You open the app, there is an ad. You open an exercise, there is an ad. You log an exercise, there is an ad. Even before you close the app, there is an ad. So it left me with just two choices. Either switch to a new app or an absurd idea of creating one app for myself, kind of a one-person app. So you guessed it right. I made the crazier choice to build the app for myself. Either it's going to be the next $1 million idea or it will be just my billion wasted brain cells. Let's see how it goes. But wait, how can I build a mobile app without knowing exactly how to code a mobile app? See, I'm not a fully app developer. I have zero experience of coding for mobile applications. All I know is how to design web pages using HTML, CSS, sufficient enough to make things work. But here's the deal. Not everyone will be confident enough in programming. And learning to code from scratch is like eating soup with the help of a fork. Technically doable, but painfully slow. So why torture ourselves? We will let the AI tools do the heavy lifting while we just connect the dots. Let me tell you a confession. It's not the first time I'm starting a project. Like many of you, I am also a serial domain holder. I come up with an idea, buy the domain, start the project with extreme enthusiasm, and then, like a New Year's resolution, it slowly gets in the sidelines, sometimes forever. So when it came to deciding the tech to build this app, I started with no-code builders like Notion, Airtable, or Glide. But the friction to add data would have been immense using these tools, and these were nowhere close to the experience of a native app. So it left me with just two choices. Either build using Flutter or React Native. I chose React Native because of two reasons. First, the styling of component is similar to CSS, which I am already familiar with. Second, I can get help if and where I get stuck while building the app. So now, since we have decided the tech to build the app with, the plan is simple. Replicate my existing app's functionality head to toe, starting with showing a list of muscles. Each muscle will have a bunch of exercises. Users can open an exercise and add reps and weights. The final thing will be to show charts and graphs so that they can visualize their progress. And if, quote unquote, everything works as per the plan, maybe later we will add more functionality like sign in, cloud sync, and more. Sounds great, right? I just hope this time we actually finish this project. Setting up a new project is probably the hardest part of the process. I spent almost 4 to 5 hours setting up the project with no success at all. Every time I started setting up the base, there was some node version issue or a library that messed it up. It almost made me drop the idea, but at the end I stumbled upon this framework called Expo, and this was a savior. It got me up and running in less than maybe 20 minutes or so. If you were to start a project, I would highly recommend using Expo. So here comes the fun part, the prompts. I gave the AI a prompt to help me get the structure of the app ready, and it started giving me the results. And since I was using the free versions, I kept switching between ChatGPT, Claude and GitHub Copilot, just like Glenn Maxwell switches his IPL team every other year. I started with creating the first screen, consisting of a list of muscles. Every time you click on a muscle, it consisted of a list of exercises. At this point of time, everything is plain static. But nothing to worry, we will make it dynamic in later stages. So the next thing is to save the logs. So since I had no idea how to save the logs, I asked ChatGPT and it suggested two ways. Either I could use async storage or I can go with SQLite. While async storage is quick and easy to implement, but SQLite could store large amount of data and was more scalable. So as expected, I chose the hard path again, and guess what? I've fallen flat on my face. It was so difficult to implement SQLite. So I learned the lesson. Don't use bazooka to kill a mosquito. So I switched back to async storage and it got implemented in just 2 tries. So at the end of the day 2, this is how our screens look like. And we have made some good progress.
Good job.
Thank you. I firmly believe in this quote. So one of the core functionalities of our app is going to be the visualization of your progress. Basically charts and graphs. Because let's be honest, numbers do not excite us that much, but viewing that graph going higher and higher every week does. So now since we have completed the performance screen, let's move to the history section. So currently you can see it's just the plain template. Let's build this page. So what I have done, I created a very basic layout using uizard.io. I just gave a prompt and it created this screen. I took a screenshot and I uploaded it into Claude and gave it the context and gave it the code of that default page, and it has given us the result. So we will just copy the code, go and paste it, and let's see the magic. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Cool. So our history tab is also ready. I'm taking maybe 15 minutes break and we'll come back to do some more upgrades. Let's aim for at least making a decent profile page of here. Okay, so I'm back from the break. Since we are not providing the option to log in with your Gmail, so there is no point of having a profile page. Instead, we will create a detailed analytics page that will give you insights on your exercise routine and maybe later integrate AI to give you more personalized insights. While running my own startup a few years back, I used to design UI on Figma and hand it over to the developers who used to code the app. But since I started working on this app all alone, I feel liberated. It's a sense of freedom that I can develop my own features, but at the same time I feel more empathetic towards developers. Because now I know creating logics, developing code, it's not that easy. So it's day 4 and the final day of our self-defined deadline of making this app into a reality. Today we have 3 major tasks. First, we want to add a daily streaks feature on the homepage. It will help our users gamify their daily exercise routine and come back the next day. Second task of the day is to replace all the icons, assets and images we have used so far in the application. The final task of the day is to create app launcher icons and Play Store icons. I will be very honest with you. Building the daily streak features was the second most difficult part of this app. The first was obviously setting up the project. I had to create a logic by which if a user exercises on a Saturday and comes back on a Monday, the streak will not be broken. So for example, if you worked on Friday, Saturday and on a Monday, you will have a 3-day streak. But if you worked on a Sunday, your streak count will increase. So Sundays had to be optional. This might sound very simple, right? But explaining this to an LLM is not that simple. It took me a substantial amount of time to get this logic generated with a mix of Claude and ChatGPT. And I guess that is where knowing a bit of code really helps. Moving to the next task, I tried to generate some images of people doing bench press. And for some reason, the AI have no idea how a bench press is done. I mean, this is not how I do my bench press. I would have been recording this from a hospital bed if I try to do my bench press like this. And this goes same for almost every AI tool I have used to generate images. So after trying almost 6 to 7 different tools to create photorealistic images of people doing exercises, I was not able to get what I was looking for. So I switched back to our old friend ChatGPT, and this time instead of getting realistic images, I gave it an image and asked it to create 3D character of a person doing the same kind of activity. And the results were unexpectedly great. And the consistency with which it is creating different forms of a person doing different kind of exercise is just top notch. So I have decided to use these illustrations instead of real images. So now we have reached the third and final task of the day, that is to name our application and create a cool launcher icon that will go on the Play Store as well. So for the name, I pondered for almost an hour, and finally, after doing a lot of conversation with ChatGPT, we have come up with the name AthletiQ. Yes, AthletiQ with a Q. This is short, simple, and looks very sporty. And I also went ahead to create a lot of a variation of the launcher icons. So I have collected all of them in this sheet. This is not a final icon. This is just temporary one, since we do not want to spend a lot of time on the cosmetics, and we'll go to the features and launching the app shortly. So these are just the temporary ones. Out of all of these, this looks a bit simple, sleek, and very contextual. So we'll be using this for now, and later it will keep on evolving if the app gets any traction. Alright, enough talk. Let me show you what we actually built. Here's the final demo of our app. Okay, before you go, here is the important part. Vibe coding with AI was fun, fast, and super satisfying. But if you're really serious about building stuff, I would highly recommend that you don't just stop at vibe coding. Learn the basics, just enough so that you can read the code, break things, fix them on your own, and know how actually it works under the hood. And trust me, it will take you way further than just the vibe coding. And if you really want to build production level apps, it is a must to know the basics. One of the main reasons why even I took up this project was to learn how to build mobile application. I'm not a complete noob in the coding. I know the front-end stuff. I have created websites using HTML, CSS and JavaScript, so I know a bit of a coding. But I never built an app. It was all completely new for me. But since I knew how to design the websites, that helped me spot the pattern, structure the things, and debug the code, which I would have not been able to if I didn't know the basics. And this app, it's just the beginning. I have many more ideas, projects that I will take up in the coming months, and will try to document them and share with all of you. And for this app, I will try to add more features, make it more robust. This is nowhere near perfect. There will be a lot of bugs. I'm sure as soon as people start using it, there will be things coming up. And to fix them, I will have to learn more into it. So you got the point, right? Vibe coding is just for the beginning. To build robust apps and products, you gotta learn how things work. So the final thought is, if you got an idea, don't wait for the perfection. Build a bad version, vibe with it, learn from it, and keep going. You never know, you can be the one building the next big idea. So this concludes my very first video. So apart from learning how to do development, I was also learning how to face the camera. So I will highly appreciate if you can just leave a comment, like the video, or just share your feedback. And if you have any interesting ideas, just drop in the comment. If we can work on something together, I would love to collaborate with someone.